Rolling contact bearing subjected to variable load cycle. There's one question asked in university exams that derive the following expression as applied to rolling contact bearing subjected to variable load cycle. Equivalent load PE is cube root of N1 P1 cube plus N2 P2 cube plus N3 P3 cube and so on divided by N1 plus N2 plus N3. Since the derivation is asked many times, let us first start with derivation, where I told you PE is the equivalent dynamic loads. P1, P2, P3 are the load acting respectively for N1, N2, N3 RPMs. Now we'll refer this diagram. The diagram is equivalent dynamic load versus the number of revolutions in millions. Specifically, the bearing, which is under the step cyclic load. Like I said, in certain application, ball bearings are subjected to cyclic loads and speeds. In such applications, bearings take cyclic variations of loads, which is seen from the diagram that during N1 cycle, PE1 load will be acting. During N2 cycle, PE2 load will be acting. During N3 cycle, PE3 load will be acting and so on. So the bearings will be subjected to cyclic loads. So this diagram shows this load versus this speed, which is number of revolutions. So diagram shows the load versus the speed. Now, since we are working for a particular revolution, right? So the whole work cycle is divided into number of elements during which operating conditions of load and speed are constant. Let the complete work cycle be divided into X elements, where P1, P2, P3 be the equivalent dynamic loads. Here actually it should be PE, not N. It's a typo error. And N1, N2, N3, Nx are the speeds during these elements, and the bearing completes N1, N2, N3, Nx million revolutions during these elements in the work cycle. So if I talk about the first element, that is when this load is acting, right, for particular N1 million revolutions, then during the first element, the rating life of bearing will be given as L1 is CA PE1 upon A, where you know L is the life in million revolutions, C is the dynamic load capacity, and P is the equivalent load. In one revolution, life consumed by bearing is given as L divided by L1. So therefore, the life consumed by bearing during the first element, we will give as N1 upon L1 is equal to N1 PE1 divided by C raised to A. The same we will do it for the rest of the elements like we did for the first element. So during second element, again N2 upon L2 is N2 P2 C raised to A, right? The sum of all the fractions of life consumed by bearing is equal to 1. Hence, N1 upon L1 plus N2 upon L2 plus N3 upon L3. What I'm talking about is this. N1 upon L1, N2 upon L3, N3, sorry, N1 upon L1, N2 upon L2, N3 upon L3, and so on. So I'll give this equation as equation D. N1 upon L1, N2 upon L2, N3 upon L3, and Nx upon Lx, I'll give this name as 1. So whatever values we had derived, for example, N1 upon L1 was N1 PE 1 upon C raised to A, N2 upon L2 was equal to this. Same way Nx upon Lx was equal to this, right? So we will substitute this equations. We will substitute these values over here. So I'll get this equation. If P is the equivalent dynamic load of complete work cycle, the life consumed by the bearing during the complete work cycle will be by this formula, which is N upon L is equal to N PE upon C. N PE upon C. Moving ahead. So if I take a look, N is actually L as N million revolutions respect to complete life of the bearing as L. So I'll complete work cycle, I'll take 1 is equal to N PE upon C raised to A. So if I substitute the previous equation E, if I equate these equation E and G together, then, this is the equation G, which is put down here. And the previous equation E was this, which is N1 PE1 upon C raised to A, N2 PE2 upon C raised to A plus NX PX upon C raised to A. If I'm equating these equations E and G, then what will happen? I can divide this C from all the denominators. So the equation will become N1 PE1 raised to A3, N2 PE2 raised to A3, NX PX raised to A3, and NE PE raised to A. So if I just take PE A, sorry, PE, if I take this PE just common, PE raised to A over here, right? Then this N will come down here in the denominator. So you can see here this N1 P1 raised to A plus N2 P2 raised to A plus NX PX raised to A divided by this N will give me PE raised to A. If I want to put this A value this side, then whole equation raised to 1 upon A will be the actual equation for bearings under cyclic load or step load. Hence, this is the final equation of equivalent dynamic load for bearings subjected to step cyclic loading. For ball bearings, A is equal to 3. So the whole equation you can see here, if I put the value of 3 over here, wherever there is A, if I put the value of 3, then the equation will become as shown over here. Now, equivalent dynamic load or cyclic load or variable load, any of these words, if it is used, then you can understand either dynamic load, cyclic load, or variable load. Any of these words is used, then you can understand that it is related to step cyclic loading. So this is the final equation. And if you want to find out this equation in PSG design data book, Then on page number 4.2, you won't find the same equation, but you will find out the equation just similar to this. The only difference is that instead of this PE1, equivalent dynamic load, they have used the word as F1, F2, F3. So if you don't want to remember this formula, then it is available on page 4.2 of PSG design data book. Moving ahead, let us start with numericals. We'll try to solve at least 4 numericals. The first numerical says a single row deep groove ball bearing is subjected to following work cycle. Reliability is 90%. Consider 4 bearings and consider the reliability of the system. Desired life of bearings is 15,000 hours. We have to select a suitable bearing from manufacturer's catalog. Also, you have to calculate average speed and total reliability of the system. Let us take a look at this table also, that 4 bearings are given, right? Radial load is given FR, thrust load FA is given, radial load factor X, thrust load factor or axial load factor Y. Inner race is rotating. Wherever there is inner race rotating, we will take 1. Outer race rotating, we will take 1.2, 1, 1.2. Service factor S or KA is 1.2, 1.8, 1.52. And speed in RPM, N RPM is given. So we have to select a suitable bearing and we have to calculate average speed and total reliability of the system. Let us start. First of all, you'll have to see that it is a single row deep groove ball bearing. So while selection of bearing, you should understand which bearing you are selecting. Obviously, the first cycle. For first cycle, equivalent dynamic load equation will be X1 V1 FR1 Y1 FA1 into SA1, where this is the radial load factor, race rotation factor, radial load, axial load factor, axial load, and service factor or load application factor K or S, whatever you say, that is given. So whatever was given in the given data, the same I'm writing down here. For example, I'll take you back over here. You can see radial load is 1.5 kilonewton. So it will be 1500 Newton. This will be 0.25 kilonewton. So 0.25 into 10 raised to 3. X is 1. Thrust factor is 0. Inner race is rotating. So V will be 1 and service factor will be 1.2. So these values I have just put into this formula. So the answer turns out to be 1800 Newton for the first cycle. Now, since I'll again take you back, the fraction of cycle is 110. The fraction of cycle is 110 for the first element. So I have multiplied here 110 into the life in hours into 60 into N1 divided by 10 raised to 6. The same formula that we were using. The same formula is here, right? So L10 is 15,000 hours given, 60 is by default, N1 is 400, we have selected from the table. So N1 is 36 million revolutions. N1 we have found out as 36 million revolutions. Similarly, we will proceed for the rest of the cycle. Second cycle, PE2 is X2, V2, FR2, Y2, FA2 into K2. Instead of K2, this is S. Whatever you write down, it's one and the same thing. X2 is given 0.56. Outer race rotates, so V2 will be 1.2. Radial load is given 1000. Axial load factor is 2. Axial load is 750. And service factor load application factor is given 1.8. P2 comes out to be 3909.6 Newton. Again, if you see, the fraction of second over here is 1.4, right? So all these values we had put and we had found out the value of P2. So once you find out P2, you have to take this as 1/4 of the fraction of the cycle into the same formula. L10H into 60 into N2 divided by 10 raised to 6. The answer of N2 is 112.5 million revolutions. Same way, we will do it for cycle 3. Let us see what values are given for cycle 3. The value of this is X, V, FR plus Y, FA into K, A or S, whatever you write down. X, you can see it is given 2. Inner race rotates, so we will take this as 1. FR, radial load is given 5 into 10 raised to 3. So 5000. Y is given 2. Sorry, I actually took this as 2, but X was 0.56 here. X is 0.56 and Y is 2, which is thrust factor. Thrust load is 1.1 into 10 raised to 3. And service factor here will be 1.5. So let us see if the same thing have been inserted into the formula or not. Yes, you can see here 0.56, 1, 5000 plus 2 into 1100 into 1.5. Answer is 7500. The work cycle, fraction of work cycle, as you can see here, is 1/2. So here it will be 1/2 into 15,000 into 60 divided by 10 raised to 6 into 600 and 3 600. So we will get the answer as 270 million revolutions. Same way from table, we have calculated for cycle 4. So 1 into 1.2 into 1000 plus this load is 0. So everything will be 0 into 2. So this will be 2400. How did we come to this? Right? So we have come up to this as 1 minus 1/10 minus 1/4 minus 1/2. Right? So this will be the remaining. So this is how we have calculated, and hence our remaining turns out to be 0.15 to 15,000 already there. 60 is also standard and 4 is 800 given. Answer is 108 million revolutions. Once you have found out the equivalent load for all 4 cycles and you have found out the cycles, million revolutions life, then you just have to apply the formula for cyclic load, which is this N1 into F1 or P1, whatever you say here. Since I'm taking the formula for design data book, that's why I've written it, right? Raised to A, N2, P2 raised to A. A is 3 because it is ball bearing. Since ball bearing is there, so A will be 3. Once you substitute this, you will get equivalent dynamic load as 6147.74 Newton. They have told us to find out the rating life of bearing L10, which will be the addition of N1, N2, N3, N4, which is 36, 11, 2.5, 270, 108. So it turns out to be 526.5 million revolutions. This 526.5 is L10. We are using load life relationship, is dynamic capacity upon Fe or P, whatever you say, and which is 6147.74. Dynamic load capacity is 49641.56 Newton. Like you know that in PSD design data book, nothing is in Newton, it is in kgf. So we will divide this answer by 10. So answer is 4984.2 kgf. And if you see this in your PSD design data book, that this 4964.1 kgf falls between 8,800 and 5,600. So we cannot take 4,800 because it is less than our C value. You can see here. So we will take 5600, and in front of that, the bearing number is 6311. Hence, we are going to select this bearing. This is not the end of the numerical, because two more things they have asked. They have asked an average speed of bearing. So we will take average speed as total bearing life in revolution. This is 526.5 into 10 raised to 6 million revolutions divided by 15,000 hours into 60. So average is 585 RPM. Also, they have asked the total reliability of the system. So total reliability is R raised to NS. Since 4 cycles were given, so 0.90 raised to 4, so 65.61% is our total reliability or reliability of total system. Let's go to numerical 2 very quickly. Bearing is operating on work cycle. Ball bearing is given consisting of 3 parts. Previously, there were 4 parts. Here, there are 3 parts. Radial load for all the 3 parts is given. RPM for all the 3 parts is given. But the very noticeable thing is that there is no axial load. There is no axial load factor. Right? The cycles are given 1 quarter cycle, 1 half cycle, and remaining. So 1 minus 1 by 4 minus half will be equal to the remaining period. What have they told us to find out? They are telling that expected life is 12,000 hours. Calculate the dynamic load capacity of the bearing. They are not telling us to find out the bearing for the manufacturer's data book. They are just telling us to find dynamic load capacity. Now, what I've done, I have just taken these values. P1 is 2500 Newton. Now see, actual formula of equivalent dynamic load is X V FR plus Y FA. Axial load is not there, so this whole thing will become 0. Nothing is mentioned inner race, outer race. We'll take inner race, so we will assume 1. Only radial load is there, so X also will become 1. So whatever is PE1 will become our FR1 is actually our P1. So this is radial load. N1 is RPM given. If I if I multiply it by fraction of seconds, then it will be 360 revolutions. Same way, radial load, RPM, and revolutions. Remaining period, I told you 1 minus 1 by 4 plus 1 by 2. Minus is over here. If I simply do this way, then also it is okay, which will turn out to be 1.4. You'll have to take LCM, or you can do it in your calculators as well. So just like P1, P2, and capital N1, capital N2, we can find out PE3 and N3. So P3 is 5,000 Newton, N3 is 1440 RPM. So capital N3 will be 360 revolutions. Life in hours is given. We are going to use this same formula, right? Where this will be N1 plus N2 plus N3, which will be 1080 RPM. Also, life in million revolutions is 60 N into life in hours. So 60 into 1080 into 12,000. So L10 will be 7.76 into 10 raised to 8 revolutions. So we will just use the formula of equivalent dynamic load is cube root of N1, P1 or P1, whatever you say, raised to 3, N2, P2 raised to 3, and same way, N3, P3 raised to 3 divided by addition, that is N1 plus N2 plus N3. Answer turns out to be 3614.15 Newton. We have just found out the equivalent dynamic load. Next, we are going to find out the dynamic load capacity from the load life relationship. So this is the load life relationship. L10, which we have previously found out, is 7.776 into 10 raised to 8 divided by PE, equivalent dynamic load, raised to 3 because it is a ball bearing. So answer is 33234.687. They have not told us to find out the bearing, selection of bearing from machine design data book. So we will not do it. Numerical 3. The load acting on ball bearing is 2500 Newton for the first 5 revolutions and reduces to 1500 Newton for the next 10 revolutions. The load variation then repeats itself. The expected life of the bearing is 25 million revolutions. Determine the dynamic load carrying capacity. Again, they are telling us to find out capital C. The noticeable thing is that it is the numerical of single row deep groove ball bearing. P1, see again, everywhere just one load is given. So whatever is our radial load, the same load will be our equivalent load. So P1 is 2500 Newton, P2 is 1500 Newton. N1 and N2 are also given to us. How did we come to know? You can see here that radial load acting on ball bearing is for first 5 revolutions. So N1 is 5. And then the next load is reduces for next 10 revolutions. So N2 is 10. 25 million revolutions. So life in million revolutions is given to us. What we have to do? We have to calculate the dynamic load carrying capacity C. So we'll use the same formula. We know N1 is for first 5 revolutions into P1 raised to 3 because it is a ball bearing. N2, P2 raised to 3, 1 raised to 3 divided by N1 plus N2, which is 5 and 10. So P comes out to be 1953.80 Newton. Once we have found out this, we can use the load life relationship already given. This is already given to us. This is the unknown, and P we found out right now, which is 1953.70. So dynamic load capacity will be 5712.95 Newton. Again, they have not told us to find out the bearing. If they would have told us, we would have divided this divided by 10. So the answer would be 57521.2 kgf. And in front of this, we would have selected a suitable bearing from TSG design data book. Last numerical, single row deep groove ball bearing operating cycle listed below. Life L10 is given 1000 hours. Again, this is a big numerical because they have given us the radial load as well as they have given the thrust load, FR, FA, service factor, S or KA, RPM is given N, fraction of cycles is given, right? And the best part is that for every load, they have already given us the service factor. Otherwise, we would have to, on basis of this also, sometimes you have to select service factor. And I've already told you which table you should refer in the previous numericals for selecting the service factor. Here it is given, so we don't need to do that. They are telling us assume radial and axial factors to be 1 and 1.5 respectively, and inner race is rotating. So everywhere X, radial load factor, and Y, axial load factor is going to be, this is going to be 1 and this is going to be 1.5. Inner race rotates, so we will always take as 1. They have not told us to just find out the dynamic load capacity, but they are also telling us to select it from the manufacturer's catalog. Now, LH is 5000 hours, life in hours is given. X1, X is our radial load factor, Y is our axial load factor, and inner race rotates, so capital V is 1. So for the first bearing, FR1, or like I said, you can call this, yes, this is the radial load. So FR1 is 2000 Newton. Axial load for first cycle is 1200 Newton. First cycle RPM is 400 RPM. So 1 by 10 into 400, you will get the revolutions as 40. Same way for 2, same way for 3, same way for 4. We will use this formula. So for all of them, I have found out as P1, P2, P3, P4. Let me show you one with an example, so you'll remember the rest of them. For example, X is 1, so not written. V is also 1, so not written. Directly FR value is written, which is 2000, plus Y is 1.5 into FA 1 is 1200 into service factor is given for each and every of them. So for this, S1 is 3, here S2 is 1.5, S3 is 2, and S4 is 1. This we have taken from the numerical. It's in the given data. I'm not writing down from somewhere else. So we found out our 4 equivalent loads. Once we found out the equivalent load, we will find out the life in revolutions. Since life in hours is given, so 60 into N into LH. N is unknown to us, so the answer will be 0.9 into 10 raised to 6 N revolutions. Moving ahead. Now, everywhere we will be putting the value of N1, N2, N3, N4, that is 400, 500, 600 and 800 given in the numerical table. So 1.10 into 0.9 into 10 raised to 6 N1. How did you come to this relation? Just now we have found out from here, right? So from there we are using the same relation. So fraction of cycle is given 1 by 10 into 0.9 into 10 raised to 6 N1. Same way, fraction of second into 0.9 into 10 raised to 6 N2. We will get the answer as 1 by 10 into 0.9 into 10 raised to 6 into 400 RPM, 500 RPM, 600 RPM, 800 RPM. If you will put the value of N1, N2, N3 and N4, you will get the answers in revolutions. Once you have done this, once you have found out the life in million revolutions, we will use this equation where you can see the equivalent load we had already found out: P1, P2, P3, P4, and so on. And N1, N2, N3, you are finding out here N1, N2, N3, N4, divided by again N1, N2, N3, N4, which are these values. So you will find equivalent bearing load as 5767 Newton. If I want to find out the total life of the bearing, then it will be L1 plus L2 plus L3 plus L4. That is addition of these three lives, which turns out to be 621 into 10 raised to 6 revolutions. Numerical is not finished. We will use the load life relationship to find out the dynamic load capacity. We already have this PE. We already have this L10 revolutions. So you know the formula. L10 is C upon PE raised to 1 upon A. Sorry, A. So we will put down the same values in the equation, which is 5767 621 into 10 raised to 6 upon 10 raised to 6 raised to 1 upon A, right? How did you come to this equation? Actually, the equation is like this. So when you will simplify, right, then you will get this answer. Now, once you have found out this, you will get the answer of capital C, which is 49.193 kilonewton or 49193 Newton. If you want to select the bearing from machine design data book of PSG, you'll have to divide this value by 10. So you will get the answer as 4919.3 kg. For ball bearing, single groove, deep groove ball bearing, against this, whatever is the bearing number, against this load or nearby this load, in fact, the higher load than 4919.3, and against that load, whatever is the bearing number, you will be selecting from the manufacturer's catalog or the PSG design data book. And we have already done this previously. So these are the end of the numericals. Thank you.